What's going on out there, y'all? I'm back with another volume 15, episode 15 of Welcome to the Franchise with the Franchise Guy, aka the Franchise Kid, aka Young Sporty. Here with another one. I know it's a lot that's been going on this week with the aftermath from the playoffs, the divisional round this past weekend. Still got some things going on with, of course, head coaching searches and stuff like that, but more about the aftermath from the games, from the performances from certain players. So I'm coming here with another volume this week to get straight into it. The aftermath of it all, part 2, as I did put out a video previously, the aftermath of some of the games right after they were all said and done. And I want to get into some more about a little bit of the chatter and everything that I've been hearing, of course, through the other media outlets or even just passing through conversations with certain people and everything like that throughout the week. And, you know, I'm hearing a lot of talk out here about how some of the guys perform, some of the teams perform, and I want to get straight into it, you know. So what I'm going to start off with first is, you know, the chatter about Lamar Jackson. Like I said in one of my previous videos, of course, whoever lost this game they was gonna take some shit. They was gonna hear some shit and everything. And we all knew, especially the people that root for Lamar, especially Ravens fans, anybody that's fans of the sport, of the NFL, and they know the history of Lamar in the playoffs and the history of him in the regular season. We knew that if he lost this game, he was going to get the most fucking shit. Like, of course, Josh Allen, if he lost, he probably would have got some criticism, but they would have found a way to be like, well, the offensive play caller should have asked him to throw the ball more. You know, the defense should have stopped on that last drive, and they got the 2-point conversion. They should have stopped that. They couldn't stop the Ravens. There would have been a little bit more leeway for him and everything. And then I also said previously that whoever was probably going to lose this game was going to get the MVP as a little consolation prize. Like, hey, motherfucker, like, yeah, you put up a good fight in that game, in the playoffs and everything. You've been doing your thing all season. But since you didn't win, and we know you're probably going to lose against Patrick Mahomes in the next round, that's the way shit always be set up. Here, motherfucker, like, take the MVP. You know what I'm saying? You earned the champ. You know what I'm saying? Some little consolation prize shit like that. But it just so happened to be that, you know, it was Lamar losing the game. Like I kind of touched on a little bit, it was mainly the Ravens team as a whole beating themselves, a little bit of Lamar beating himself in the first half. You got to execute, man. You know, you got to execute from start to finish, even though I like the way that he finished the game. The way he started off was a little shaky, but he overcame that. You know what I mean? And great quarterbacks, great players, great teams, they're still able to overcome even turnovers and shit going wrong in the first half or even the second half and still pull out a win in big games, big playoff games, big regular season games, and in the Super Bowl. We've seen it before, so I don't think that Lamar should be getting all the bashing only about the turnovers. Like, yes, the playoff history is bad, so yeah, he does deserve some criticism, but, you know, it's just going to be an onslaught of a lot of little, you know, different things and shit. I think it's unfair, but I think one of the positive things I'm seeing this year a little bit is some people are kind of saying that, yeah, he actually did improve from previous performances before in the playoffs, and it wasn't all his fault. As we know, Mark Andrews dropped that pass. We already know about that shit. That shit is going to... I think that shit should be talked about a lot more. But, you know, Mark Andrews is a phenomenal player, so, you know what I'm saying? You know, you don't want to throw more salt in the wound with that shit. But speaking on that same exact subject, where I really wanted to start on the hit on the head is I was hearing from a couple people out there talking about Lamar should have thrown a better ball. Like, what? Nigga, what? A better ball on that play? Are you crazy? Like, he couldn't have put it in a better place on that play. Tight situation. He even had to wait a little bit for, you know, the play to develop a little bit more, break down what the defense was doing, even though it was a short window and a short yardage and everything like that. For the 2-point conversion, and he got open. You know, Mark Andrews got open, and he put it only where you like right there in the numbers, right in your hand. It's an easy routine catch from somebody who's known to be short-handed every single time. Lamar's right-hand man even before some of the other players got drafted and started actually getting in the fold and started playing better. Mark Andrews has always been his guy, so you can't really fault him for that. But it's a perfect pass. The fuck are you talking about? You should have thrown a better ball. What the fuck is you talking about? Like, so I feel like the people that are saying that right now, they motherfuckers they dumb as hell. They crazy as hell. I think, I'll keep it above. That's probably just to, I don't know, get some reactions out of people, to get some engagement, but just fine and cool, start some conversation. Because there was a time in the game where, Lamar could have thrown a better ball in the first quarter when he had Henry wide open there. You know what I mean? But even on that play, like, listen, man, this is football and it's playoff football. We already know not every single fucking play is going to be perfect. Nothing is perfect. Nothing perfect was happening for any of the teams that played this weekend. Nothing perfect was happening, but you got to adjust. You know what I'm saying? They're all professionals out there. You know what I'm saying? I think that even though it was a bad ball in that first throw to Henry and it would have been a touchdown for a guy like him, first of all, he's not known for catching the ball out the backfield that well anyway, or always being looked to have that. That was one of those plays where Lamar was trying to make a play. I think some guys down the field that he may have been initially looking for weren't open, and Henry seemed to spring loose. And you know what I mean? He probably saw it in the last little second, and he tried to do a little bit too much touch or do the jump pass, but a little bit low for a nigga that's like, 6'4", 6'3", some shit like that, with Henry, who's not known for catching that well, but it still went in a part of his hands where it's like, my nigga, you could still catch that and maybe just go down to the ground and then get up and try and run because no one was around you, or just catch it. But yeah, I do agree on that play. That was a bad ball. But on the 2-point conversion, come on now, let's be fucking serious. Yes, he deserves that blame with the fumble and the snap and everything like that. I touched on that earlier too. Trying to be Lamar Action Jackson and shit and go all crazy. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't the time for that. You got to live for another down. You feel me? But, that's what makes Lamar is he can make those plays at times and everything like that. It's just that the margin for error is so tight for a player like him and for a team like the Ravens because they've been in this situation time and time again, and they've lost, and there's been little mistakes where they're beating themselves. And then you get to weeks like this where they're going to be on Lamar about stupid shit like this, like he should have thrown a better ball to Angels on the 2-point conversion. Nah, you got me fucked up with that. That's some bullshit right there. And, speaking on that, I was also hearing, that, he's getting a little bit of the Peyton Manning comps right now, where it's like a couple plays have been showing up. He's got this at this part of his career. He's got the same exact playoff stats as Peyton Manning, who couldn't get over the hump for a long-ass time against Tom Brady and, and the Patriots and stuff. And it's, they're like giving him the Peyton Manning comps and everything, And I'll say this right now. I believe Lamar will win one Super Bowl. He'll win one. He'll definitely get to one for sure. You know what I mean? But I think he's gonna win one. You know what I'm saying? I think he's definitely gonna get to a Super Bowl and everything. But, this thing about only the turnovers and this, that, whatever, blah, 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 in the playoffs, I get it. He hasn't won all the time in the playoffs. It's a progress. He's growing in his playoff, progress process or whatever you want to call it. But let's not get it fucked up and twisted here, man. Just in 2023, man, Josh Allen had multiple turnovers in the game and still won. You know what I mean? Some of the GOATs, Tom Brady, even when he's with the Bucks, had multiple turnovers in a playoff game and still won and overcame and won. Now, I know I'm saying won and Lamar lost, but I'm saying it can be done. He is good enough for 1 year. He's going to have where he may have a turnover or two. And my point is, they want him to play flawless. This is the thing that they demanding out of him with all the criticism, especially as I'm going to put it here too, like with the comparisons of the stats and everything to Peyton Manning. He getting the Mike Vick treatment right now. He a black quarterback. He mad dynamic. He could run all over the place. He got a good arm. He could throw now. He proved all that shit. But when you a black quarterback and shit, you can't make no mistakes. None, especially when you lose. He has to damn near, no, not damn near, he has to play fucking perfect and then some, and then some means everyone else around him got to play perfect. Down to the fullback, to the running back, to the tight ends to make the catch, to the offensive lineman who got to make the right blocks, offensive center who got to make the right snap, the perfect snap, to the wide receivers who got to run the right routes and make the perfect catch and make the right plays, to the damn defensive backs and the defensive backs making the right plays and being in the right coverage and being in tight coverage, to the damn defensive linemen putting pressure on the other team and the linebackers, you know what I mean, making hits behind the line of scrimmage instead of on the second level. When you're a quarterback like Lamar Jackson and everything like that, everything has to be right. And I'll say this, like I said, the Mike Vick treatment. You know what I mean? It's the Mike Vick treatment. And mind you, if you compare the two careers, yes, Lamar is better than Vick. I've seen him accomplish a little bit more, even though they both have lost in the first round, lost in the second round, and have lost in a championship game. Because I think about this watching Vick in those days, man. You know, he had a game one time, I believe it was against Philly, and they were on their own, 5-yard line. I'll never forget this shit. They were on their, own 5-yard line or some shit like that, and this nigga Mike Vick was trying to find someone open, just bootleg all the way to, I think, his left, and ran all the way down. I believe he scored and took he either scored or was short by a couple yards, but I'm pretty sure he scored. But at the end of it, he took the biggest hit from Brian Dawkins. And those of you who know football, have been watching it for that long, or like to check back from players that was nice back in the day and shit, right? That nigga is a dog. He will knock the shit out of niggas. In the dead cold. This was in the cold. This wasn't in the dome. The Falcons didn't have no home field advantage. This is in the dead cold, just like it was this past weekend. You know what I'm saying? Freezing out there. And he got smacked by Brian Dawkins at the end. And I believe still scored. And it got called back for a penalty. And the Eagles lost that game, I think something like 6-0 or 9-0, some shit like that. It was a really tough game because it was cold and shit. You know, but Mike Vick tried with all his heart. You seen in games where he tried, and you seen him in playoff games also playing. You know what I'm saying? You got fucking Algie Crumpler and Brian Finneran. You know what I'm saying? So the margin for error for guys like that who are that dynamic and can throw the ball is minimal. You know what I mean? And even when, we seen it with Vic when he was on the Eagles. He was on fire one year. He developed a lot more as a passer when he came back. And then in the second round, they ran into the Packers. And, you know what I'm saying, that defense was on that year. I believe that was the year when Aaron Rodgers won that Super Bowl. They went to the Super Bowl. I believe so, if I'm not mistaken. But Clay Matthews was all over this dude, and it's like everybody has to play perfect, down to the offensive line, to the defense, to the receivers getting open, all of that. You know what I mean? Otherwise, they're going to call you a bum when your career is over, or when it starts getting the twilight years of careers. Like, he ain't really like that. Okay, you got three MVPs, but the MVPs don't matter. Like, we're getting in a time now, 2025 and beyond, where certain things don't matter to people anymore. MVPs don't fucking matter anymore. Pro Bowls definitely don't matter because that game is a joke now. You know, certain accolades now don't matter because people are getting snubbed from all pro teams. They're getting snubbed from Pro Bowl teams. They're getting snubbed from all type of shit. You know what I'm saying? And then, at the end of the day, motherfuckers just care if you win, man. Get a Super Bowl. Get a fucking ring. And now just one ring doesn't matter, where even if he gets to one, like I believe he's going to get to one, he's going to win one. Even after that, it's going to get to a point where he's going to graduate to getting the Aaron Rodgers treatment. Because now we don't even give a fuck about that one Super Bowl that Aaron Rodgers got, especially with all the bullshit and nonsense that's carried on when he was with the Packers after that. And then now, recently and shit, at the tail end of his career with the Packers and now with the fucking Jets. Niggas do not give a fuck about that one Super Bowl for how talented you are, how talented your arm was, how talented of a quarterback you are on the field and shit. You know what I'm saying? No one cares about that championship anymore because niggas gonna look at you like, yo, you should have had 3. Or you should have had 4. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's gonna happen to Lamar once he graduates from this Mike Vick treatment and the Peyton Manning comparisons, and then he gets one or gets to one, and then he gets the, you know what I'm saying, the Aaron Rodgers treatment after that. It was like, damn, you was so hot, like you was that nigga, like what? You had 3 MVPs, 3 league MVPs when Mahomes was in the league and Allen was in the league and Burrow was in the league and all these niggas was in the league. Why you only got one? Or why you got none? That shit would be even fucking worse. Cause I'm not gonna lie, when I was young, I seen Brett Favre win a Super Bowl. I seen him lose in a Super Bowl, and I seen him lose a bunch of playoff games. As I started getting older, I started being like, damn, yo, nigga Favre was so ill, so like that, and a lot of quarterbacks kind of tried to emulate his game. How that nigga only got one? You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what's gonna fuck around and happen to Lamar. You know what I'm saying? It's unfair, but it is what it is, man. You gotta win, especially as a black quarterback. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm always gonna root for them. You know what I mean? But that aside, the race thing aside or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've always just been a fan of Lamar since he's a freshman at Louisville. So I want to see him succeed, and I like his game. But you gotta win. You gotta overcome some of these turnovers, which I felt like it was a good stride seeing this game, which he did in the second half. He's like, all right, I got that fumble, I got that pick, I had that underthrow, some other little miscues. Fuck it. We still gonna go out here and ride, and went down the field. They was down 8. Then they scored. They should have just kicked the field goal instead of going for 2 that fast. But fine, you get over that. We come down the field. Our defense had to stop, held them to a field goal. We're going to come down the field, and we're going to get this 2-point conversion. I'm overcoming that shit, not letting it get to me. The GOATs have done it. The GOATs do it. The GOATs have been through it. You know what I'm saying? The Tom Brady's, the Drew Brees, the Patrick Mahomeses, the Josh Allens, the Joe Burrows. They've thrown They've had multiple turnovers in the game and overcome it, and still went to the conference championship game or a Super Bowl. They've also been on the other side of those games and lost throughout their careers. And I get it. Lamar is not as decorated in the win department as these guys, so yeah. But he's going to overcome it. So chill out all this, he should have thrown a better ball shit, and he's just so terrible with the turnovers and da-da-da-da. Like, name a quarterback that's always played flawless, impeccable through the playoffs. I'm not saying there's none. You got Eli out there who just turned to the playoff. Eli goes crazy. You know what I'm saying? Brings home the chip against the GOAT. But then against that same GOAT has been in Super Bowls where he'll start off a Super Bowl game with 2 interceptions and still come out with a fucking championship. You know what I mean? I've seen Pat Mahomes throw multiple turnovers in regular season games or have some mistakes in playoff games and even championship games and still come out with a win. You know what I mean? So, Lamar's gonna overcome. You just gotta execute. You just gotta win. Everybody though, the whole team. You know what I mean? You can't have drop passes from your main target. You can't have that. But you can't have fumbles also from your best player on the field. You know what I'm saying? And you can't have easy giveaways, just throwing it away, your first interception. You can't do that as the best player on the team. But you're going to get one. You know what I'm saying? But fuck all that shit. You should have thrown a better ball and all that shit. Y'all niggas bugging. Shut the fuck up with all that shit. Next, what I'm going to move to with the aftermath of some of the games here. Let's get into a little bit with Jalen Hurts real quick. I'm going to say this. He got to be able to throw that ball down the field or throw the ball more in rhythm in that offense for real. Because if he's got to keep up with Jayden Daniels, if they got to get into if they want to start slinging the ball around on that side in this next game, you know what I'm saying, it might be a problem. But it most likely shouldn't, you know what I mean, be a problem because, you got Saquon, Gainwell, the running game is good. The O-line is great. Jalen Hurts could also run himself. He got a little banged up there, twisting up his knee and shit. So we don't know how much they're going to want to lean on that element of his game. But I'll tell you this is the game for the whole season here. So, the coaches and Dan Quinn being the head coach and the defensive coaches in the DNA, this is the whole season right here. I know for damn sure them motherfuckers is like, yo, let's stop the run. All we gotta do is stop Jaylen and contain Saquon, because you're not stopping Saquon. Although they got they got two rugged niggas up front in Payne and Allen that's vets and been doing this and shit, and they've been playing with each other. They could do it. They just got to switch up their strategy and their philosophy a little bit for one game, the biggest game of the season. You contain Saquon, you stop Hurts, which it's been shown you could do a little bit, even in that last game. You do that and force them into some 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 6s, 3rd and 10s, 3rd and 12s, and now you got a fucking chance. Cause your boys back there in the secondary, they going for the ball, and you still got B-Wags and Louisville who could either blitz or they could drop back in coverage and get busy on Goddard and them niggas and shit. Goddard and Calcaterra and Gainwell if he slips out the backfield and shit. You know, them niggas tackle. You know what I'm saying? They could cover and they could tackle. So if you force Jalen Hurts into throwing the ball more in this game, you got a chance, and that's where Jalen Hurts is gonna have to step it up. I know he's capable of doing it. It just I haven't seen that shit this year. His throwing game this year has been terrible. But my thing is I've seen him do it before the season before, throwing them bombs. The A.J. Brown, I don't know whatever fucking beef they got with each other, but they better grill that shit up and eat it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's old now. This is for everything now. This is also not just about this game. Don't look too far ahead, but to win the Super Bowl, too. If you got to go up against Mahomes in good weather, both of y'all in good weather, and they want to throw the ball around, too, and they start stopping your run or catching on to whatever Saquon does and shit, you know what I'm saying? You're going to have to balance that out. Because if don't let them start get cooking and wanting to fling the ball all over the place, and they can run the ball, too. You know what I mean? You gotta have a comeback for that. But first things first, Washington, right? Jayden Daniels is not scared to sling the ball around, you know, and get hit and still get up and sling the ball around. Clearly, Cliff Kingsbury does not give a fuck about, we're not going to throw because they defense. They'll still throw it. They'll run it, too, to do some little creative plays with Eckler and a jet motion or Eckler and a screen and get them the ball behind the line in the passing game or however they got to do it, too. And they'll run with McNichols and they'll run with Brian Robinson, who had a good game last week. But it's going to be tough sledding up there. You got Jalen Carter up there going crazy, But Jalen Hurts, man, get your shit together. Get your passing game right, because we seen that you're capable. We seen you do it, but against Jayden Daniels, this kid is different. You know what I'm saying? It's just about if their defense wants to step up, and if their defense forces Jalen into throwing the ball, or he has to throw those timing routes outside the numbers, or he has to throw those post routes or a deep end. Them DBs, they've shown in the past couple games and sometimes through the season, sometimes that they will make plays on the ball. Especially the young boy, the rook, Sam Still, man. He will show that he'll make. I want to make a play on the ball, and he'll come up and tackle also. So that could help. That could be a factor and help in containing the run, because they already got a front seven that's capable. Not the nicest, not the greatest, but as far as those 2D tackles, Payne and Allen, and then you got Louisville and B-Wags, they're capable of stopping and containing the run to get you in those passing downs. And I'm not saying that the Eagles, they ain't no slouch in the passing game. Like I said, you got Smith, you got Devontae, you got Goddard, you got A.J. Brown if he actually wants to fucking show up this playoffs. First game I can't put all on him on the performance, but this last one is like, come on, bro. Catch the fucking ball one time. You know what I'm saying? You better than that. We know you better than that, right? But if they force you into those passing downs and shit, you know what I'm saying? We got to see. We got to see that you could do that shit. And Jayden Daniels, like I said, he could sling it around out there. And what they need to do to win this game, they need to play exactly the same, have the same energy, the same mindset they just had against Detroit. You know what I'm saying? If they do that, they have that mindset on offense, and especially on defense, the defense steps up a little bit more in key situations, they could win this game. It's possible. Is it likely? Hey, we don't know, but that's what the game is played for. That's why we watch. That's what I love about this shit. You still gotta watch this shit, and it's gonna be fun to watch. You know what I mean? Shit, part 3. I already like part 1 and 2. All right, next, speaking of that, when we had trilogies and repeat series and rivalries, Kansas City and the Bills. I want to get into it. The rivalry is here. It's back again, and this is one of those, well, I'll say, yeah. I said it before, Patrick Mahomes, he's graduated now into getting the Tom Brady treatment. Getting the calls. Looking for the calls. The Chiefs getting the flags. You know what I'm saying? They got the referees on their team now. The extra roster spot. They 12th and 13th and 14th and 15th man or whatever, right? And like I said before, too, for Patrick Mahomes, man, you better than that. You fucking better than that. You don't need none of that dumbass shit. You know what I'm saying? The Chiefs, as a whole, are better than that. They don't need flags like that because I've seen them overcome everything. Even in the days when they weren't going to the Super Bowl, when they were on the opposite end of the shit, when they played the same Patriots with the same Tom Brady, and he was getting all the calls, and they still was coming back like, nah, we ain't finished yet with Tyreek Hill, Mahomes, and Kelsey, and it was just Tyreek Hill and Kelsey was the only 2 targets, and they couldn't stop the shit. And then every now and then they would run with Kareem Hunt, and they couldn't stop the shit, even though the Patriots were still getting the calls and shit. They ultimately lost and everything in some of those games. But, like my main point is y'all better than that. Because we seen y'all overcome everything. Y'all better than that. All this referee shit and Patrick Mahomes doing all that shit. But, I guess rightfully so. He earned it because he's that nice, that good. He graduated to the Tom Brady treatment. So it's going to be another good one, going back and forth, the fireworks and all that, blah-de-blah. That's what the people want to see. It's what the NFL want to see. Honestly, it is good for ratings. It is good for the sport. I think either way, whether it was Buffalo or the Ravens, it would have went like that because we seen the first game where the Ravens and Kansas City played each other this year, and that was really fun to watch, a lot of fireworks. You know what I'm saying, between those 2 teams. But this is going to be another fun one to watch. It's going to be crazy. And this is the guy that I think, in a different kind of way, I'm not going to say treatment, but he's right now in this vibe, in this space. He's in the Peyton Manning vibe right now, where it's like he's basically in the Peyton Manning vibe versus Brady, where he just can never get over the hump. They're always meeting each other in the conference championship game, him and Mahomes, and he just can't win. You know what I mean? He hasn't won. And it's not through all fault of his own. It's not that. It's not like a Lamar situation where he always beats himself, although he does have some bad plays sometimes and everything throughout his playoff career. But, he can't get over the hump. You know what I'm saying? They go back and forth. And every game where you feel like the Bills is going to win or they should win and Allen's going to do it, Allen, they can't finish. And with that being said also, Allen has just as much to prove as Lamar does when it comes to win this game because he has not beaten Mahomes either to get to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? He has not beaten Mahomes in the biggest games to get to the Super Bowl. He has just as much to fucking prove as Lamar. Just as much to prove. He's got to win this game. They gotta execute. He's got to get the ball to all the playmakers. And I get it. They're running the ball. They're doing good without him doing the most and less is more. But, we'll see how this game plays out. But I know one thing. That motherfucker better come ready to sling the ball at them niggas when I put it like this. When they get any little ounce of having a foot on the Lions' neck with playing the Chiefs, they got to make the plays to put them away. And that's got to be through Josh Allen. And it's got to be through giving them back-breaking plays in the passing game, a deep throw or a deep throw through the middle where Khalil Shakir could run after the catch for a touchdown for a big play. Or it could be, if you still want to run, keep it safe, on the ground, do with Allen too, because he ran through niggas, and he ran through the motherfucking Chiefs in that regular season game too, to put the exclamation point right into the end zone. I don't know if the Chiefs defense all the way has an answer for that. But it can't just be, okay, we need you to do the least, Josh Allen. Like, yes, keep running the ball, all three of the running backs, you know what I'm saying? But, and keep getting the ball into the tight end's hands, Kincaid and Knox and everything like that. That's a great thing. But I think this is a game where also those receivers outside the numbers are going to have to get involved, man. Just a little bit. I'm not saying they need 5 catches. Maybe they just need, someone needs 2 for 25 and someone needs 3 for 50. And then Khalil Shakir could just always do what he does, have his 4 to 6 for about 100 yards or 75 yards because he gets rack yards, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, or just gets those 15-yard first down, 17-yard first downs while they're setting them up in the run game to go over the top for those type of gains and shit. But that nigga, Josh Allen, got just as much to prove as the rest of these other niggas, especially Lamar also and shit. You know? Because the only nigga that's beat Patrick Mahomes in the biggest game to get to the Super Bowl, or that can have the Chiefs shook like that, is Joe Shiesty. It's only Joe Shiesty in Cincinnati, man. And he got those receivers that are dogs out there, too. Them 2 guys, and T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase would hit you any level. Short, mid-range, deep game. Take you out to them deep waters, boy. He'll do it all. You know what I'm saying? Juke niggas out, break tackles, all that shit. And T. Higgins will make a big catch, and he'll run a little bit after the catch and get a touchdown, or, you know what I'm saying, get the big catch in the red zone, whatever. He'll do that, too. And they got they got a tight end, Gesicki, now. You know, they used to have Mixon that, yeah, he'll run over you too and catch on you. You know, the offense has changed a little bit, but it's real. The only nigga that really, you know what I'm saying, has been able to get the best of Mahomes in the biggest game is Joe Shiesty, Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. So, Josh Allen, you got to come with your shit together. The whole Bills team, not just Josh Allen, it's a whole team thing. That defense was looking a little leaky against the Ravens last week also. You know what I'm saying? They were looking leaky at times. I know they had some injuries and, you know, they lost some players, but they still got a really good defense and a good scrappy defense. As leaky as they were looking in that fourth quarter, like I said in the last game against the Ravens, they were still looking scrappy and shit. You know what I'm saying? Still doing their thing, blitzing and getting interceptions and, you know what I mean, just trying to, you know, make the key stops where they need to, but they better come to play also and, you know what I'm saying, confuse Mahomes a little bit if they want a shot. You know what I mean? Because everybody is talking and looking like it's going to be a repeat shit. Even me, I'm thinking, I was like, it's going to be a rerun. It's going to be a really exciting, nice game, back and forth. Might even be more of a defensive one with the weather and everything right now. Shit, they both know how to play really good in this good weather. So I think it'll still be a show, but it'll be all that back and forth for sure. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? And then ultimately at the end of the game, Kansas City's going to pull it out. Or you put them in a position where you got to let the motherfucking 12th man, 13th man, 14th man, 15th man make a decision, and they're going to fucking win. You know what I'm saying? So, Bills, I know y'all got a good defense. Y'all can do it. Y'all got some scrappy players on there. You know what I'm saying? That can make some plays also on every level. I believe from what I've seen. And the players that y'all got on every level, from the edge to the interior, on the defensive line to the second level of linebackers that could cover and could do spies and could tackle, to the secondary who can make plays on the ball and make plays in the running game and get a little scrappy and shit. You know, y'all come and get y'all shit together, because right now it's time to knock out the Chiefs. Mahomes got Tom Brady treatment right now. They got, like I said, they got the 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th man, and their offense is still in motion. And their defense is a top defense in the league. See, I ain't even get into all that, and I'm not going to, because it's documented. We can get into that a little bit later. You know, because that's a really good defense, sound defense, and they all been playing with each other for a while now also. And Spags is always going to get them niggas right for the playoffs, always. So it's going to be another one. But Josh Allen, you got a lot of proof to me too, my boy. You got a lot of proof to everyone else. So, you know what I'm saying? Let's get right, you know? And that'll wrap it up for me right now with another quick hit of Welcome to the Franchise, Volume 15, Episode 15. Just going through my takes on the aftermath of everything this week, the Aftermath Part 2 episode. You know what I mean? Thanks for anyone who is tuning in out there and everything like that. I just do this for fun. Of course, I love the sport, love all sports and everything like that. Doing what I'm doing, like I do it for TV. You know what I mean? Like I want to work to do this shit or something. Don't want to be on TV, not into being famous, nothing like that. But, this shit is fun. You know what I mean? It's a good time to talk about it in this kind of way, and hear it in this kind of way. Well, let me wrap it up and shut the fuck up now. Y'all out there, have a good week, and y'all be easy.